Hi, you guys. Welcome back to Stellar Rhythm. So, today I have a special guest, my sister and friend, Gemini Jazz from House of Chiron. You can find her at House of Chiron, Texas, TX on Instagram, and the link to her website is there. So, this is our second time doing this because we had to stop. Stuff came up and now it's just a better time. So here we are. And this is very fitting for the Cancer moon because Cancer, the moon in general, talks about women who supportive women surrounding you, but it also has a lot to do with familial connections, and she is very much so a familial connection for me. We're very close friends and it's like family, and she is a woman who supports me and I support her. So here we are today, gonna talk about stellar rhythm. Who knows, this might become a thing. um, you never know. So today the moon is still in its first quarter phase, so we are still under the phase of taking action, being courageous, being very committed to our cause, to our goals, to our path, whatever it is that may be for us. And but with the moon being in Cancer, it's a little bit more mellow, like a more of a reflective kind of time, and taking stock of our emotions and how it is that that's affecting what it is that's happening outside of us, and finding that emotional maturity that we need instead of retreating into our shells that Cancer does when it's feeling uncomfortable. That can manifest into that emotional immaturity that Cancer can exhibit sometimes based off of, you know, being a little off in the mind. I don't want to say off, but what's the better word?
Anywhere. Stuck up in there.
Stuck up in there based off of emotional patterns. So we're going to talk a little bit about each moon phase or the aspects that's happening. So I'm going to give a little bit of my spiel on it, and then I'm going to leave space for Jazz to give her interpretations and what she sees coming up for us. So first we're going to talk about this moon, this Cancer moon conjunct the North Node that's in Cancer right now. So this is a lot to do with our emotions becoming aligned with where it is that we're headed, where it is that we're going, what intentions it is that we have for our life, for our security, for our family, and what best ways it is for us to show up in our emotional selves and being able to make this thing happen like in a stable way, in a very secure way. So what do you have to say, James?
Well, I was going to say that with also the North Node being the destiny, right? Your purpose. And right now with the North Node being in Cancer and the South Node being in Capricorn, the South Node is more so like a karmic release in a sense. So being in Capricorn, it's like we have to find the balance between what we want in work and home life, because Capricorn is about the work. So with it being in a conjunction with the Cancer moon and the North Node, is kind of highlighting what it is that we need to do and where it is that we need to show up at home in order for the work to manifest and for us to release the karmic ways of, working hard, because it's kind of what this is all about. We have this mindset being in society that we have to put in so much work to have an outcome. But really, when we have that balance between the Cancer North Node, with that, we have to find out, we have to figure out how do we put in work without overexerting ourselves, and also implementing the rest that's needed. Because if you don't rest, then you're overexerting yourself, and then the outcomes aren't really that favorable, because you can't really enjoy what the work that you put in and the things that manifest from the work, because you're tired.
Right. That's a lot of the nurturing the private self so that we can show up in a very healthy way in the public life. Being sound when no one's looking at you is the best way to be sound when everybody sees you, you
Right.
know. So along with the moon being opposite the south node, like she was talking about, is also going to be in opposition to this Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn energy that is also there in Capricorn. So this is us really finding balance, again, that balance of taking care of ourselves and taking the action it is that needs to be done, allowing the care that we give to ourselves to support us in taking that action that needs to be done in order for our successes, our achievements, for our public life, our public image, our career, whatever, whether that is you working for yourself or you working for someone else, and it's a matter of finding the balance, not necessarily the whole not overexerting ourselves, and when it comes into that opposition with Jupiter being a planet of excess, but with it being in Capricorn, this allows us to fully express ourselves in a way that is not scattered. It helps us find that order. It helps us find stick to the details so that we are not pulled here, pull that, pull there, and just staying really organized with that. And not until the 6th, what's today, the 4th?
Right.
So no, the end of the day on the 5th, it'll be coming into an opposition with Saturn and Pluto. So this is again about karmic releasing, letting go of anything it is that we've been holding on to that we think is necessary in order to make something happen, when in reality we probably need to lag back a little bit and allow Cancer to come in and allow us to take our time even more than Capricorn already wants us to, because Cancer is all about nurturing the self. It's about finding home within the self, like what makes you feel good, because if there is no feel good inside, what you end up doing is not going to look good. So it's a lot about just finding all of that balance there. So what you want to add, Jazz?
The Mars and Capricorn energy, I think I touched on that yesterday on my Instagram about Mars also being a cutter in a sense, it rules knives, it rules things that need to be cut. So with it being there with the South Node, and the South Node is also the karmic release that we are being shown with this moon, the things that we are not, or the ways that we are not showing up practically, the Capricorn energy, and how or what needs to be released, what needs to be cut or removed or just completely revamped in our lives with this Mars. And Mars being in Capricorn is there to help us with that. It's just kind of like an effortless thing, like how, this isn't working, this gotta go. It's not practical anymore. This is too hard. If it doesn't feel good, it's going. Yeah. And it's like without even forcing ourselves to do it.
Right. Not even having to think about it.
Right. It's just a matter of, and honestly, like the universe will show up for us when we don't want to show up, and it'll show up for us and have some things happen and just, it's done. It's gone.
Kind of like today, because when your company came over at that time, and then at that same time, I was like, oh, you know what? I can put Bashar down for a nap. And the moon is in his 6th house of routines and habits. And that's something that I've been needing to implement. Mars is in his 12th house. What's been going on with his kind of subconscious, what has been kind of innately picked up for him as he's been being raised,
Right.
And it's like, okay, it's time to cut this out. We need a new way of going to serve us better in that aspect.
Right. So, let me see, the moon is in my 3rd house. Yeah. So that is all about small business. That's all about siblings. That's us, and my sister friend. And that's also about communicating thought process. So with it being illuminated in a sense, I also did not want to do much work today. I
Right.
knew it was like a laundry list of things that I should be doing. I woke up kind of like, man, I'm not doing none of that.
Right.
It was like, I did a lot of work yesterday. I got a lot of things out and a lot of things accomplished. I deserve a day of rest, or just in a sense, this is my work, communicating, right? This is my work. So that's another way of how it showed up for me.
Right.
I'm going to grab my charger really quickly because it says I have 4% on my computer.
Okay. Okay. And it's funny because for me, it was the opposite, because how my son has Cancer and Capricorn in the 6th and the 12th house, I have Cancer and Capricorn in the 12th and the 6th house. So this is me cutting out old routines and moving from that motherly place, that subconscious motherly place that lives within me that I already know, you know, and just not moving in a way that is going to serve us moving forward. The whole North Node energy, destiny, the path, moving forward. So that's another way to look at that. But let's see. Oh, did you want to talk about Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto?
No,
The opposition
more
side.
so with Jupiter, it's okay because Jupiter rules also the higher mind, right? So, and long distance travel and higher education, all these things. And with it being in Capricorn, what I have experienced more so is just seeing how to obtain the things of the higher mind, or of that Jupiterian energy, in a more practical way. So it's kind of like just grounding the higher mind, like, you know, all the things. Because for me, all this Capricorn energy is in my 9th house. So that's all of my beliefs. That's the house that's ruled by Sagittarius.
Right.
And also the ruling house of Jupiter.
Right.
Jupiter being in is ruling house for me, but it's in Capricorn. It's really all the subconscious patterns, all the beliefs and the philosophies. And even with me graduating this year, graduating with my BA in May, this is all happening during this time of learning, this time of exploration, mental exploration. So it's just showing me in a practical way how these things are just becoming more grounded. Even the things that I have changed my mind, all the unlearning I've been doing to relearn something new, is starting to show up in a tangible way, because it's also Capricorn, the tangibility of things, the manifestation of things. So I have been literally manifesting my thoughts, the things that I have changed. So that's something I was going to add. And I'm sure people have seen it in a different way wherever it's happening in their charts.
Right. But really gathering what it is that you need to know to take you on that path, on your journey ahead, because that is also Jupiter in the 9th house. It is the journey. It is the path. It's your truth, where it is that you're headed, you know? So I'm excited for that. Okay.
Think about it now, like, oh wow, she's graduating. This is my journey to be a therapist.
Yes. And 9th house is the house of therapy. Yep, therapist, all that. So that's exciting. I'm excited for that for you.
Look at me being bougie.
Right, you're Taurus rising. Look, I get it. It's fine. Enjoy.
Should we talk about Venus moving into Taurus, since that's the case?
We can. You want to finish the moon transits and then talk about that?
Okay. Let's finish that.
So let's talk real quick. We only have a couple more to go through, but Mars, Lord. The moon is also in a square to Chiron, right? So that is a lot about, I was talking about that this morning with these foundational energies within ourselves, right? How it is that it's kind of like, where have we been wounding ourselves? You know, that is what this square is referring to. How is it that we have been showing up in our emotional immaturity, and where has that been projected outwardly in how it is that we relate to other people, and where it is that we've shown up in this and wounding ourselves through how it is that we identify with us, how it is, because Chiron is in Aries, right? So this is about how we project our energy. This is about how we identify. This is our identity. This is our self, you know? So kind of it speaks a lot about recognizing where it is that our base energy with our emotions has been off, and connecting with others, because the moon is about relations, whether that is friendship, love relations, or anything like that. And those things might be coming up, or we might be recognizing where it is that we have grown, and where it is that we are no longer showing up in that space where we are more connective and not trying to separate ourselves the way in which it is that Aries does, because Aries likes to do a lot of things on our own. Okay, for example, recently I was mentioning to my husband about how I was gonna go do a video on Friday, and he was like, "Oh, you gonna do it with Jazz?" And I was like, "What? No, I want to do this by myself." And he was like, "Why?" And then today I was like, "Oh, maybe we can do this together." Like Taylor was just mentioning X, Y, and Z, So here we are. Here's my growth. Right, y'all get to see me growing here with my friend and connecting with her and working with her, So that is just a personal example of this energy. But Jazz, did you have anything to add
For me, Chiron and Aries is happening in my 12th house. So that's all about my subconscious patterns. So it literally, the end of 2018, all of 2019, and still parts of 2020, it's all about me changing my mind.
Right.
Changing my mind in order for me to change how I am, because what you think becomes what you say becomes what you do, and what you do becomes your life.
Right.
So I literally had to start from the ground up with all of this, and with Chiron being there shows Chiron and Aries in my 12th house has really shown me, without showing me, it hasn't been like an outward thing. It's been more of an inward thing of how I have been identifying with myself. And in turn, how I've been identifying with myself because of how I think about myself. Right. That has reflected in my relations in relating period with not only others, but relating in the world.
Right. That makes sense with Cancer being in your third house, because it's about how it is that you're thinking and relating. Third house is a house of relations as well. So, right. Most definitely. And with the square energy, it could also bring up any kind of conflict, might bring some type of obstacles that stop you from connecting with others in the way in which you want to, because you're recognizing, well, like, dang, like I'm showing up this way, it's not really working, like, or it's something that happened that made you realize that, like, oh, this is how I've been being, and this is the result of that. It's like, do I want to do something different, or am I going to keep down this path, or am I just going to let things go and be myself? If that even is yourself.
Right.
So
that's neither here nor there.
It's not. So now the moon is also going to be connecting in an aspect with Uranus and Venus. It's going to be in a sextile, right? So this is going to be it's already there. We've already experienced this energy this morning, because the moon is already starting to move forward, and Venus and Uranus are in early signs of Taurus. But this is basically like a noticing what you need to do in order to make that change, to make that shift, like maybe something not drastic but small, right? So in order for you to kind of ground yourself in the way in which it is that you're showing up, especially for women, if you're a mother with this Cancer and Taurus energy, it's funny, I was just talking about mother stuff this morning.
I was about to say that we were talking about that.
Yeah. So just recognizing how it is that what needs to be done in order to shift, and how it is that what you've already been choosing to do in order to shift, right? And then that's with the Uranus energy. But this can also talk about even in our finances, in our security, in our home lives, in our property, what it is that we're attaining, because Taurus is about our possessions. Maybe something about our values needs to change. Maybe we need to level up our values. You know, maybe we need to stop thinking so small, right? And recognize what it is that we are truly worth in order to really gain that beauty in our lives that we want surrounding us. Like it's this energy is about how it is that you want to feel. Taurus and Cancer is all about the feels, all about the senses. How does it taste? How does it look? How does it smell? How does everything, you know? How does it look? I think I said that. What does it sound like, right? Okay, wine glass with water and lemon and cucumber. That is the ultimate feel. Like,
So refreshing.
right. You know, it's refreshing. It looks nice in the cup. It tastes good. It's cleansing to the palate. All of that. You know, even the aromatherapy effects when you tip the glass up in the refreshing lemon aroma. Like all Taurus energy. So
I'm being shown myself right now.
it's fun. See you, girl. See you. And so then the moon is in sextile to Venus. And this is that too, because Venus is the ruler of Taurus, you know. So it's in its home sign. It's ready to make some money. It's ready to buy a house, maybe. Okay. It's ready to go on some dates. It's ready to get real romantic with they boo. All of that, you know, like just be touched, be felt, be seen, really, you know, and feel good about it for real, you know, and in doing what needs to be done in order to manifest that, to bring that into fruition, because it's in a sextile. So it either partially exists and needs some more work, or doesn't exist at all, and recognizing what needs to be done. So
right. Like you've done the work to have it come through already, or like you said, recognizing that there's still more work need to be put in. Because a sextile, from what I've experienced with sextiles, that it requires work, right? It requires some kind of back work. It's not like a trine where it's just like something that's just going to happen in a sense. It's like there's some work that has been done previously for this to actually come through. And so it's kind of like now it brings you to the question. This is where the therapy comes in.
Yeah.
What work have I been putting in?
Right.
Where have I been putting a lot more of my energy? That's that Mars and Capricorn. Where have I been putting my energy in? What needs to be released in order for this to manifest? Because you have to let go of certain energies in order to bring in certain energies.
Right. You can't
so, right. It's too much. It's like you got to empty out the basket to let other things come in. So that's where these questions are going to come up. Like, where has my work been going? Where has my focus been? Where have I been placing my energy? Because those are the questions that you need to ask in order to see what's coming into your life. And if you want to attract different, then it means you're going to have to show up different.
Right. And that starts within, and that moon in Cancer, Venus in Taurus, Uranus in Taurus. How do you want to feel? However you want to feel, you have to start feeling that. You have to start believing that. It's like remembering a time that something made you feel alive, that made you feel really good, that made you feel a lot of joy and happiness, and harvesting that energy and taking it forward with you so that you can manifest that feeling again through whatever it is that's going to come, or whatever it is that you are trying to attain. You know, we are told that life, you manifest based off of what it is that you desire, but what they leave out is that it's really about the feeling. Right. You know, because if you don't know how you want to feel, you can manifest something that looks good, but that don't mean it's going to feel good. You know, could be pure shit.
Rest.
Okay. So yeah, that is, let's feel good, y'all. Yeah. So then the moon is going to be coming into a trine, which is going to be very harmonious and very easily attained with the sun and Neptune. Neptune and the sun, does it come into a Kazini this week?
Neptune and the sun? Yes, I believe so.
Okay, so
Hold on. So
Okay.
I wrote about it.
Okay.
Galactic gossip. I did it this week. Neptune conjunct the sun. Yeah, that is this week. So that's just going to make us more sensitive and compassionate. It's also going to give us the ability to relax.
Yes, most definitely. And it's also, and that's going to be really good with that trine with the moon and being in Cancer, because that is really what that moon in Cancer is looking for, like to chill, to be at home, to be in, not necessarily in solitude, but be able to go within, because the moon rules the high priestess, and high priestess recognizes that that wisdom is within her. So that is a lot of what is being manifested here. And I feel like I can also say that this is also a good time to be able to make things happen with the Pisces energy and the Cancer energy. The Cancer energy wanting security and grounding and foundation, and then the Pisces energy is like, what am I imagining? What's my dreams? What are my fantasies? How can I make this real? What is it that I'm going to believe to be true in order to bring this about? The thing about trines also, though, is that if you've been like in this state of confusion, if you've been in this state of being unsure, unclear of what direction it is that you're going, it may bring some turbulence to shift you into where it is that you need to go in order to make the harmony, to create the harmony, right? Because although trines are harmonious energies, they are really just simple energies. Simple meaning that whatever is already present, it's just easily going to bring more of that. You know, if you're not already in that space of, I don't want to say conquered, but I don't know. You have anything to add to that? Because I can't think.
No, not really. Just with the trine, it's that, like you said, whatever is already there, it's just going to bring more of it. It's just going to manifest more of it. So it's kind of now, like I said, bring me to those questions. What have you been doing? What have you been thinking? How have you been feeling? Right. What is it that you want to feel? What is it that you want to have? Right. So with any of those questions, and depending on what your answers are, that's what you can expect more of, unless you start doing something different, unless you make that shift and make that change. And a trine might just do that. It might bring something into your life, might bring some type of situation or circumstance in your life that forces you to shift, which is why I always say that nothing happens to us, everything happens for us, because the universe has our back. It's going to bring us something that's going to require us to make a shift in order so we can have our truest desires. But you must know what you truly desire.
Right. And that comes into, who are you?
Right.
What do you believe? So many questions. Okay.
The shadow work is not for the faint of heart.
It is not, like, really paying attention to everything, the patterns. Who are you? But let's move on. So Moon is going to be in conjunction to Mercury retrograde as well. Yes, but we will be asleep during this time. So we may be finding some healing revelations through our dream state, Right. Because with the moon and Mercury, Mercury is in Aquarius, so it's in Aquarius now. It's already went back like into 0 degree Aquarius, right? And when anything is at its zero degree, it's kind of like at this high state of that energy manifested. It is pretty much like that energy is what is more prominent than any other energy, simply because it's at 0 degrees. So with the moon being in conjunction to that, with Mercury, first off, with Mercury being in Aquarius, this is a lot about our connections, our groups, our organizations, and how it is that we've been communicating, how it is that we've been relating, and have we been showing up authentically in that, you know, because that is what Aquarius is all about, being authentic, being true to yourself, so that, you know, it's not about being in competition, like, this is who I am, and, you know, that whole
Ego.
you can't tell me what to do. This is who I am. It's not about that. It's like, no, this is who I am. And this is what, because this is what I have to offer. This is what I have to bring. This is of benefit to you, you know.
Like the opposition of the Leo energy, because Leo is more so about this is who I am, self-expression. And the opposition to Leo is Aquarius, which is the ruler, right? So, and it's like, so it's the opposite. Like, this is who I am, and this is how this benefits us all as a collective. So it's kind of like getting out of that Leo energy and focusing more on the Aquarian energy.
Right, exactly. And this, with it being in a retrograde, it allows us to see where it is. It allows us to revisit the ways in which we haven't been really being honest with ourselves of what needs to be present in order to manifest our goals, because Aquarius is goals, is our large, it's the large scale, it's the bird's eye view, you know. So with it being in conjunction to the moon, we are being basically invited to merge how it is that we want to feel with what it is that we want to accomplish and what it is that needs to be done. Because although Mercury is about relating, it's all about action as well, because it's also the ruler of Virgo, and Virgo gets the job done. I don't know a Virgo who, okay, I'm lying. I don't know many Virgos who don't put in the effort to get it done. Like, majority of the Virgos I know, they are consistent, they work hard, you know, they put in
precision to detail.
Yes, they put the work in, like they bout it. You know, Beyonce, Michael Jackson, you know, like they get it done. So it's like, what, first of all, what needs to be done, right, for the greater good, and what in this greater good, it's like, what are you trying to be secure in as well, you know? So what, you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, on a personal tip, when you said the bird's eye view, remember I kept seeing that hawk?
Oh yeah,
all those days.
Yeah,
and it was right before, it was a week before it went back into Aquarius. So this was last week. I was seeing these birds, and it was inviting me to take a bird's eye view, see the bigger picture of things.
Yep.
So that's what this brings me to. Like, okay, let us all soar now. Let us all fly above, right? So this is in your higher mind. Let's all elevate. Let's look at the bigger picture of this. Where are we trying to go? What are we trying to develop? What does all of this look like at the end, right? Okay, so once we have that determination, then we can start seeing what details need to go in. That's the Virgo energy you spoke of. We can also see who needs to be involved and who will be benefited from who will benefit from this. That's the Aquarius energy, as well as the Gemini Mercury energy, right? So all of this all kind of like goes hand in hand. And in society today, they tell us like, oh, it's every man for himself. That gets us absolutely nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. It is when we actually work together for the greater good of all that we actually get somewhere and things get done.
When I was putting Mashar down for a nap, we was having this conversation.
Who was this we?
Me and you.
Like, you and Bashar was having this?
No. You and I having this conversation about like not thinking that you need to do everything by yourself. Because when you start thinking that you have to do things by yourself, that's what makes it very difficult. And it causes a lot of confusion, honestly, because it's stressful. Like, it's tiring, it's stressful, it's just too much.
Yeah, honestly. All hands on deck. Let's get it.
Let's make it go. Okay, Mercury Virgo energy. That is what that is, because Virgo energy in itself is willing to work together, not just alone. It's the service to the people. It's the Six of Pentacles, the give and the take. You know, so
it's that balance.
Yes. Do you want to talk about Venus going into Taurus while I shuffle these cards?
Sure. Okay. So I'm just going to spit this off the dome because I didn't write anything down.
Yeah.
But Venus in Taurus. So it's in this ruling sign, right? And I'm excited about it because I have Venus in Taurus and I have a Taurus rising. So what's good?
What is good?
What is good? This is going to, and it's going to be in this place for about 6 weeks or so. And we are going to be feeling more in tune with our sensuality, more in tune with our senses, because that's what Venus is all about. And then being in this home sign of Taurus, it's all about what is it that makes you feel good? Where are your values, right? So in order for you to actually figure out what you value, you must know who you are. You must have an idea of who you are in order to determine what you want, in order to determine what your values are. And like I was saying in one of my videos before, that your self-worth is attached to your net worth. Venus rules money as well.
Yes.
So if you don't know who you are, and you don't have a sense of self and what you're truly worth, and you don't know, your worth or your own value, how do you expect to accrue anything valuable to you? Because you could literally have millions of dollars, right? And that means absolutely nothing if you have no value within yourself.
Right.
That's why you have these people who are millionaires and billionaires and they're unhappy because they lack the value within.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what this season is going to bring us, for us to actually tap in and figure out what it is that we value and actually experience these things that make us feel good, that help us feel good.
Right. And because it's all about that that self-care, that self-love, So
Self-love doesn't necessarily look like hot bubble baths and lingerie either. Self-good. I just said that on my Twitter, that self-love does not always feel good.
It doesn't. Most of the time, it doesn't, because it at times it may require us to move beyond where it is that we are finding so much comfort in.
And comfort is limiting.
It is so limiting, So get uncomfortable so you can find comfort in a new space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because I can say finding my self-worth this year, when I quit my job, I determined that I was worth way more than being confined to I didn't even have 4 cubicle walls. I had 3. They couldn't even get me, and it was a partial partition, right? So I was confined to these 3 little walls every day for the majority of my day. 9 hours of my day, sometimes 10, because I'm working through my lunch. I don't even get outside to enjoy the sun. And I don't get to really enjoy the people I absolutely adore and love in my life. I would not be able to do this with you, this connection, this relating. I wouldn't be able to do a lot of the things that I'm able to do now. And with that, I am uncomfortable because I'm so used to being sure with the stability. And it's really an illusion. The stability that a job, has created is really an illusion. But that's neither here nor there. I digress. So
I'm laughing because you're talking about this in these cards, but keep going. Okay.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited to hear about these cards. So with me finding my work, it was very uncomfortable, and it did not feel good. I cried like a baby, and I was just like, I don't know what the hell gonna happen. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do. But I had to trust the universe, and I had to also bet on myself. Mm-hmm. And in order for me I know exactly what I want to feel because I know what I want.
Right.
And I only was able to determine that by finding out who I am. Who am I?
Right.
What's my purpose? My purpose is to be unapologetically myself, North Node in the first house in Taurus. So I'm supposed to be rich.
You on your way. Look, if you want, right, like don't be seeking nothing from me if you trying to stay comfortable, because I'm gonna encourage you to jump off the cliff.
Because that's exactly what you did. You need to quit your job. I don't know how long I heard that from you and Tehran both. Jazz be doing so much better if she just quit her job. And I heard that so many times. And I was just like, that crazy as cat shit.
And look at you now.
Like, thank God I got real friends.
Thank God. Because life is so much better. Even on the days you unsure.
You're right.
You have enough space to be like, you know what? It's going to work out. And
it
do.
And it always does.
It's amazing.
It is. And you're
So,
and you're a witness to it.
Yeah, it's real.
So that's what this Venus and Taurus energy is going to bring. It's going to help us kind of tap into what it is that we want to feel. It's going to give us the things that make us feel good during the season. And then we're going to be able to determine more so on a grounded level, like, okay, this is what I want to feel. And then you're going to ask yourself, how do I get there to feel this continuously?
Mm-hmm.
What work needs to be done? What needs to be changed? What needs to be removed? How do I need to show up? What mindset needs to change?
Right.
So I'm excited because we also have, after it goes into Venus and Taurus, it's going to go into Gemini and it's going to retrograde.
Right.
So we're going to go back into review of all these things.
Right.
On a mental level.
Right. It's going to be exciting. I can't wait.
And it's around my birthday.
It is. It's going to be a great time. And Venus is in Taurus for my birthday. So
it's ironic.
Right. Look, I'm ready. I'm excited. So before we wrap this up, you guys, we're going to talk about these cards really quickly. So we got no. All right. Wait, postpone, pause, say no. So when you get the no card, this doesn't mean necessarily that if you had any questions, that it's a no. It's just meaning that not right now kind of thing, because something else, you need to become aware of something else. Something else needs to become clear, right? Before you can move on and get to that yes, to get to that, okay, this is where I need to start, right? Because maybe there's something else that needs to be learned. Like it's a path that needs to be taken. Something might need to change. This lightning in the background makes me think about the Tower card. And that whole Uranus energy of the shifting. And then we got the Moon card. So there may be some illusions it is that we're holding on to, something that we need to see through the fog. There may be some kind of subconscious fears that we're holding on to. Maybe there's something that we're reflecting that is not serving what it is that we're trying to attain. And that is what needs to shift, right? So about the whole, hey mom, about the whole, the feelings of how it is that we want to feel, right? And then we got the 9th house. So this has to do with something surrounding our beliefs, but it also has to do with our paths. So perhaps we have some fear about taking the next step in where it is that we're going, where it is that we're getting to. We could also be caught up in some kind of disillusioned reality. So it's like over the next couple of days, some things may be illuminated to us of the truth is going to be coming about, so that we can get beyond this no, so that we can cultivate whatever energy it is that we are holding on to, that we need to get beyond to get to that yes. So it's going to take some time. I rolled some dice, and what came up was Mars and Leo in the 7th house. So this might have to do with how it is that we're relating to ourselves, how it is that we're relating to others. This could be about our confidence and the action it is that we need to take. How it is, what needs to be let go of that is blocking us from being confident.
Self-expression as well.
Right, exactly. And this could also have to do with us needing to tap into our inner child as well, in when it comes to relating to other people, right? Because we could be taking things a little bit too seriously, right? We could, especially with the moon coming up, and illusions and subconscious fears that can keep us in like a very stuck place, and Mars requires that movement and that release so that we can trailblaze, so that we can step into our personal authority, within our relationships, within how it is that we relate. So, you know, take that as you may. And that is all for stellar return for today through the 6th. 1 second, y'all. Okay, so I hope that this has been helpful. I hope you enjoyed this stellar rhythm for the moon in Cancer. Thank you so much, Jazz, for being here with me today. I really enjoyed having you. And I hope you guys enjoyed us tag teaming this energy together.
Yes.
You have anything you want to say?
Love you all. Have a great next couple of days until the next stellar rhythm comes out. I really don't have much of anything.
Yeah.
I'm just excited to see what's to come of all of this.
I know. I'm so curious.
Yeah. In the state of wonder.
Yes. So if you guys are looking for readings, Jazz does. She does solar return readings. She has a special going right now for Pisces season. So if you're Pisces, hit her up. She also does talk therapy because she is a therapist in training, soon to be a psychiatrist. She has a lot of things. Go on her website and check it out. And if you are looking for any feminine support, you can go on the website, on my website, on LizzieCharm.com, and you can sign up for Graceful Exposition. You can learn a little bit about that, get in touch with your cycles, with your phases, get you a lunar return chart done. And if you want to learn how to read your own personal birth chart, there's a service called Know Thyself on my site as well. You can sign up for that. Or if you're just looking for a quick question reading, there is that as well with intuitive reading. So I hope you all have a wonderful next 2 days, and I will see you guys on
Friday.
All right. Yep.
Bye.
Bye.